We hear a lot of complaints about doing business in the city of Chicago. Does City Hall make it more difficult than it needs to be?
Yeah, I think they do. I mean, personally, again, we've got retail stores, so it's a real, heavy duty bureaucracy we deal with to get those little stores open, and it's amazing. You sometimes think I'm running nuclear test facilities. I mean, it's pretty wild.
Like what? Give us an example.
Well, okay, for example, we have to go in and apply for a license, and we got to go to health, we got to go to zoning, okay? And one of the amazing tricks is that you go in and you get through zoning and the health and permitting, and you get all that done, and they say, okay, now we're going to come out. Health department's got to actually come out and physically inspect you before you open. I'm like, okay, when are they coming? Sometime in the next 7 business days.
So it's like Comcast, which is like a 4-hour window.
Right, but
this is a whole week.
But the store's closed. I'm like, so I should leave someone there for an entire week, 10 hours a day, for when you show up? Yeah. I'm like, well, come on. You can't say to me, okay, we'll be there, between 12 and 2. Give me a Comcast thing. I'll be there between 12 and 4 on Friday. Got it. And so, and also, they also don't understand. You've spent, whatever you spent a lot of money to get the store open, and opening it today is huge because every day you're closed, right? You're paying rent, you're not ringing the register. And they're like, well, we'll get out there the next 7 business days. I'm like, I've been doing this for 4 months, and you're going to make me wait another possibly almost 2 weeks just for you to show up and tell me what you already passed is actually passed? It drives you crazy. There's no need for it.
Gabriel, you not only have opened a business, you've opened a brewery in what's basically a residential neighborhood. So you've probably had as much or more experience dealing with City Hall and all those processes than anybody here.
Yeah, we didn't get any free rides really at any step of the way. It wasn't all negative. Fortunately, we had a very supportive alderman that without his support, we wouldn't have been able to get it done. However, even with that support, we still had to go through many, many steps, and we asked for it to a certain extent because we built essentially a liquor manufacturing facility right in the middle of what is a fairly nice neighborhood. And beginning this whole project, I was like, well, why aren't there more breweries in Chicago? And that's sort of the reason.
And now you know.
And now we know.
Did you feel, by and large, the folks that you worked with in city government were there to help you get through it, or were they there to make it hard?
I think by and large people are there to help you get through it, but everyone is really covering their tracks so that they don't get burnt in the long run. Everyone wants you to be successful, assuming that their own
tail is covered.
That they're covered.
That
their own, yeah.
I think the city is very encouraging of starting new businesses. But I also don't know how much they truly can do. I think part of being an entrepreneur is you want people to get out of the way and you just want to do stuff. So in a certain sense, I think the farther away they stay, the better.
And I think that's a huge point. It's like, that's great, but just stay out of my way
and that's part of it.
I won't kill anybody while I go through this.
And then World Business Chicago in particular, I think for tech really does try and reach out to entrepreneurs and what can I do to help? What challenges are you facing? And I think that organization, which was created by Mayor Daley to sort of get outside the bureaucracy so they could try and accomplish some things for small business. Obviously, they go after very large companies as well, but I do think they're starting to reach down and realize that there's a lot of job creation that can happen from the smaller businesses out there.
I think the CEC was great too.
The Chicagoland Entrepreneurial
Center. Just phenomenal. Yeah. I mean, David Weinstein and Kyle.
He's been an entrepreneur.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
Fantastic Blue Meteor, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they're great. Dan Line. I mean, there's like a subculture in the city.
There is a subculture.
I didn't know about it until I was introduced to it. Had absolutely no idea that it existed, and when I found out, it was like a breath of fresh air. It's different when you're in Silicon Valley, where our first business wound up. It was just it's everywhere. Right, there's an environment.
Is it like an infrastructure?
It's everywhere. You sit in Starbucks and everybody's working on a deck to raise capital, and where Sand Hill Road is, and everybody's lined up there. There's a mecca for it, but there's what I would call basically a silent mecca in Chicago. Some phenomenal talents here, and you just have to know how to tap into it. And it's a great city.